Hey guys, well, welcome back to Music Talk with John. Today I'm just going to show you a few recent pickups, recent grabs that I made of albums. Got a little bit of a variety here. Some albums I've been kind of looking for, one I was kind of surprised with when I bought it because it didn't have a song that I was looking for, or thought it was on the song or on the album. Didn't realize until later there's different versions of the album. And that's the first one. So let me get into this. I'm going to show you these albums. The first one that I picked up is Fleetwood Mac, Then Play On. And this version of it, I'm finding out. There's the whole thing right there when you open it up. So a big song off of this was Oh Well. And what this was the third studio album for Fleetwood Mac. It was the last one they did with guitarist Peter Green, who really just ruled this album with his guitar work. I mean, the guy was amazing on this. I need to grab the first two, actually, of Fleetwood Mac. But Oh Well was the big song off of this. Thing is this is a UK release, and the album originally released in the UK did not have the song Oh Well on it. Oh Well didn't end up on this album until it was released in the US, and I can't remember if it was the first pressing or the second pressing in the US, because they did some changes on the first pressing when they did it in the US. Then on the second pressing, they did another arrangement. So Oh Well ended up on the US release and not on this. So this is still a very good album, but I need to keep an eye out. It's a reissue. I think it came out last year. But it's a great album, but I'm kind of missing that Oh Well, so I need to keep an eye out for the US pressing of this. So, and they said, I read up on it, said this is the original artwork also, so I don't know what the other albums look like. This is the only artwork I've ever seen for this album. So excited to have this in the collection, but I'll be looking for the other version of it with Oh Well on it. Next one I have here is the debut album from Stone Temple Pilots. I got it on a cool like red splatter vinyl. There's the front of it. And on there, this album sounds good. It was made in Italy, not a pop, not a crack. This is an album I can listen to all the way through. It's one I've always enjoyed since it came out. I'll give you a little glimpse of it. It's got a cool splatter, so it is cool. And it plays great. The big songs off of this album for Stone Temple Pilots was Plush and Creep. And this came out in, when did you come out there, buddy? 92? 91, 92, 92. And this is a 2017 reissue from what it says on here. So happy to have this in the collection. I have Purple also. So I have pretty much what I consider the essential Stone Temple. They had a later one that I didn't really, like on to me or something. I didn't really get into that one. So I'll have to see if I'm missing anything. But those are the two essential for me for Stone Temple, was Core and Purple. Then this one I've been looking for since I do my walking and talking thing, and I got assigned one of these song off of here, Peaches and Regalia. It's Frank Zappa, Hot Rats, and that got me into this album. Listened to it, I'm like, ooh, I need to get more Zappa. So the only thing I have for Zappa right now is a compilation, so this is a nice addition to it. So Hot Rats, you got Frank coming out of an empty swimming pool. You know, Frank always bizarre. There's the back. I don't know if it's just him in there again. And then you got some cool pics on the inside. Where is it? There you go. And interesting thing about this, so I really don't know if Frank Zappa really had any radio hits except for maybe Valley Girl. And that song was a stinker. But the Peaches and Regalia I liked on this, and then there's a song a lot of people, I don't know, like or into. It's called Willie the Pimp. Willie the Pimp is actually the only song on this album. Just listened to it recently where it has actually vocals. The rest of it's very jazzy to me. A lot of interesting jazz scales with horns going off and all that. And it's bizarre like Zappa is, but it's definitely, I think it's an accessible album. It's just a fun album. Guy was having fun with his talent. And so Willie the Pimp was the only song on here with vocals, and it wasn't even Frank. It was Captain Beefheart who was on here. So Captain Beefheart is around there somewhere. Where's old Captain? There he is. Right there, and then I actually have the lyrics right down here to Willie the Pimp. There's not much to it, so it's mostly social commentary, you know, about the despicable part of life. So, then I have Chicago's Greatest Hits. I've always just kind of kept this on the radar, and it went on sale, so I picked it up. It's that classic album. I think a lot of people have seen this and know that it was their first Greatest Hits album, and their ninth album overall came in 1975. And sorry, the Hot Rats came out in 69 and Oh Well came out in 69. So I always try to mention the years when these albums come out. So this came out in 75. Good songs on here, and it kind of reminded me. So it was their first hits album, like I said, 9th album overall. But it kind of showed me before David Foster got in there and did like Chicago 17, and they had all those ballads and took the horns out. Still reminded me here that Chicago was a ballad band even before that. So Foster just kind of fine-tuned that for more pop, I think. But there's that. It's on the yellow vinyl. So that goes with the cover. And so it's 25-6-4. Does anybody really know what time it is? Color My World. Very basic song. Saturday in the Park is on here. Feeling Stronger Every Day. Good horn stuff. You know, just a good album. Fun one to put on. Call on Me. I've been searching so long. Beginnings. So it's a good album. Like I said, I was kind of had it on the radar. When you have it down like $5, $6 at a place, I'll pick it up. So that's what I did. Then you have a big one, 80s hit here, almost like a Phil Collins solo album. So you had Genesis, Invisible Touch. And this bad boy came out in 1986, had I think half the album, if there's, well, even more than half, because there's 8 songs on here. Domino takes up a lot of it, which is an instrumental, I believe, mostly. I think there's some vocals in Domino somewhere. Had a running theme. I don't know if this is really a concept album. Oh no, I'm thinking of Duke. Sorry, I'm thinking of Duke for some reason. But it came with the original, with the lyrics and all that in there. There's the backside, but it had a ton of hits on it, and it really felt more like, there's a point there where I almost forgot if it was Phil Collins or Genesis, because it became very much Phil Collins projects, it seemed like. It has a sticker on it too. It was $3.98 at one point. And $3.88, so I don't know if that was the year. It came out in 86, so I don't know. So I'm not sure if I have a first pressing or first edition of it, but had the hits on here. Invisible Touch, Played Like Crazy, Tonight, Tonight, Tonight. I think that even was a beer commercial at one time. Land of Confusion, love that song, social commentary on that. In Too Deep, so that's the first side, so the first side just kills it. Domino's on there, great. I don't know if what is the, see, I'm so bad with the names of this band. There's only 3 guys in there. You think it wouldn't be that hard. Tony, I forgot. I'm so bad. Tony, because there's Mike from Mike and Mechanics, and Phil, loving him right there. But Tony, I think he had a large part with Domino because it seemed very piano based and things like that. So I enjoy that part of the album. But you know, side 2 is not quite as strong as side, well, I wouldn't say that, because again, Domino's really good. It's not as commercially friendly maybe as side 1, but Throwing It All Away, Played Like Crazy too, and that felt just like a Phil Collins ballad song. Really didn't feel like Genesis at all. So anyway, glad to have that one. It's one a friend of mine, Duncan, way back in the day had this, and he liked that, and I was like, didn't really get into it, and I got older and said, oh, that's a good album. So it took me a while. It took me just a little while. Another one I've been looking for, finally got my hands on. This is 1976, and it is Dirty Deeds. Done Dirt Cheap, AC/DC. This has a little bit of an interesting history. This is not the original cover. This is the US cover from what I understand. And this originally came out in 76, and then it was released in the US in 81, I believe. Which was a year, I think a year after Bon Scott passed away. And I like this album. It was only released in Europe and Australia. Europe and Australia 76, and came out in the US in 81. And it has the great song Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. I like, Big Balls is on here. Rocker, like Problem Child. Ride On, I like that one. Yeah, it's a good album all the way through. So it's when I was kind of looking to complete that early AC/DC area. So I'm building up my AC/DC now. So I was happy to have that one in there. And the last one here, a little bit different. I don't usually buy country, but this guy is interesting. It's Sturgill Simpson, A Sailor's Guide to Earth. I love the artwork. I love the whole theme of this album. It is not your typical today's country album. I think it even won some awards. This came out in 2016. Yes, 2016. Just look at that album cover. Guy has a major country voice. I mean, there's no doubt. I don't know if this is a whole picture, if it's just two different. Looks like two different. But even the artwork on the inside is cool. It's like a map. And it seems like Welcome to Earth Pollywog is the first song, and it seems like he's talking to a child. I can't remember if it was a girl or a boy. I think it was a boy. Introducing him to Earth and life and those things. Major like country twang voice, but a lot of horns, a lot of soul, not just this crap you're hearing on the radio these days where it's processed pop music that they're calling country. This is a good album, country, just good, adding horns and all that, like I said. And a surprise was on here. I'm listening to the album, digging it, and all of a sudden I'm like, is that Nirvana? And it sure was. They do In Bloom, the Nirvana song. He covers that, and I really like what he does with that on there. So that's what I have for you. Those are my recent grabs. So if you have any of those or any suggestions with those artists or anything, definitely leave it in the comments for me. Hit that like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And until next time, I hope you guys enjoy your music and you take care out there, all right? Bye.